Streamed live on Twitch at Lord Brandon 10.
Welcome back, YouTube. Today we are here with another Destiny Rising video, and we're going to be showcasing a really cracked out nutty Maru build here for you guys today. So before we get started, I just want to point out that if you guys are needing any help with Calamity, if you're needing any raid helps, any PvE helps, or just questions about the game, please go over to the comment section. The first pinned comment is a message from me with a link to our Discord. We have an amazing community of people who are answering questions, helping people, talking, getting to know one another, and building a wonderful community over there. And that Discord also lets you know when I go live on Twitch is when we are also helping people. Feel free to check the description as well with my Twitch channel, so that way you know when I go live, so that way you can drop a follow and all that good stuff when I go live and when we do the helps. Now, we're going to start off with the artifacts. We'll go over the weapons, the relic abilities, and then we'll end it off on the talent tree, and we'll show some clips throughout me explaining this, so that way you guys can see how this build works, and hopefully you guys are enjoying Maru with it. So starting off with the artifacts, slot number 1, I'm running Undaunted Blazer. Undaunted Blazer artifact perk states gaining an overshield also grants 25% damage resistance for 2 seconds. Repeatedly gaining this effect extends the buff's duration to a max of 10 seconds. So when you get an overshield, which is when you press your V ability, any enemy who shoots you in that barricade ability, which is going to be the Abyss Gulf, any enemy who shoots you with this shield active, it's going to give you an overshield. Okay, any enemy who shoots you with that little barricade, it's going to give you an overshield. So essentially what this first artifact states is that it grants you 25% resistance when you are gaining an overshield, and repeatedly gaining this this effect extends this buff duration to a max of 10 seconds. So not only are you constantly rocking your overshield, which we'll get into in our second slot, you're extending it to a max of 10 seconds. So you're getting all types of good resistance with that, plus the overshield, which is going to help you essentially be the best tank that you can be with Maru. Now, the second artifact, which really hones that in, is the Siphoning Blazer. It states that when the wielder has an overshield, dealing AoE damage to combatants grants overshield equal to 26% of the initial damage dealt. So there's a lot to unpack with that. Number 1, when the wielder has an overshield. So overshield, as I stated from this first slot, is when we pull out our V ability and we are getting hits with anything with that barricade in front of us, we get the overshield, right? When we deal AoE damage to combatants while we have an overshield, when we deal AoE damage to combatants, it grants overshield equal to 26% of the initial damage dealt. So that's going to essentially keep proccing overshield, and I'll show a clip of that on stream or on screen here so you guys can see it. It's going to essentially keep proccing and building up your overshield, so it's like you almost have an infinite amount of overshield when you're playing, and it's really cool because your overshield is tied into your resonance buff, which we'll get to here on the bit. So that is how the first two are working side by side, and that's what I'm running. Now, going into slots 3 and 4, I'll explain why I'm using, actually before I go to slots 3 and 4, the attributes. So attributes, I don't really have a good run, I don't really have good attributes on any of these. I just kind of took what I had for power so I could get ready for the Calamity helps. But ideally, I think you're going to want to go for shield bonus, overshield bonus, barrier bonus. Some people have been saying some good things about it. I'm not too sure. I haven't tested it out thoroughly just yet, but I have barrier bonus on both. I'm a person, I really like health boost. If you can get health boost, I'd say keep it. I really enjoy health boost, and then defense boost is also another good perk or another good attribute that you would want on your artifacts. So that's what you need to go for both slot 1 and 2 in terms of your attributes. Overshield is an obvious choice, obviously, because she's a tank and the artifacts are literally giving you overshield, so that's going to pair well into that as well. The overshield bonus, if you guys aren't aware, is once you get, it states that the base effect is grants 50% additional overshield health upon overshield acquisition, excuse me. So all that is essentially, once again, ties back to the entire kit and the entire build and gunplay that we're doing. Now, going into slots 3 and 4, I am running mythic artifacts. I'll explain why in a second, as I do every video. But for the slot number 3, I'm running Safeguarding Blazer. And this one states for its perks that it increases the base max overshield by 30%, right? Additionally, abilities deal 40% damage while protected by an overshield. So, typically your gunplay when you're going to... Actually, before we get into that, before I explain that, I think it will make more sense. Let me explain the attributes first. I'm running Super Boost, Signature Boost, and Ability Strength. I'm running that in both slots. Now, there's a couple things to unpack here on why you run these to understand why this makes sense. Number 1, Ability Strength. Relic abilities deal 66% damage, increases overshield, healing, and barrier durability from relic abilities by 11%. Now, the added tier effect states that casting abilities grants 10% weapon damage for 10 seconds. So anytime I pop my barrier, your V ability, or even my cannon ability, I'm going to get increased damage for 10 seconds with my ability. And of course, the added benefit of the ability strength. I'm also running Signature Boost. Signature Boost states that signature abilities deal 71.5% damage and gain 11.0% overshield, health, healing, barrier, and durability. Now, the way this works, if you look at your added tier effect, it states casting a signature ability increases the damage of the next signature ability by 13.97% for 6 seconds. So typically your play here, how this is going to pair on Maru is, and I'll show it on screen, is you're going to start your signature ability with your shield, because your shield does 0 damage. It actually takes damage, and then you shoot the cannon while your shield is up, and that's going to increase that damage by 14%. Now, Super Boost obviously is a given. Her super lasts for a good amount of time, and it tanks enemies. I mean, it really tanks the enemies. And we'll show that on the screen as well. But it states supers deal 71.5% damage, increases overshield, healing, and barrier durability from supers by 11%, further tying back into our overshield tank build that we have going. Its added tier effect states that at a tier 10, casting a super grants 12.6 damage bonus for 6 seconds. So that is the attributes and how they're important. Now, I want to go back to the artifact perk on this and explain how those attributes really play with this here. Once again, it states increases the base max overshield by 30%. Additionally, abilities deal 40% damage while protected by an overshield, which means when I start my rotation off with my V ability, which is the shield, I take damage, I get an overshield, I then shoot any enemy with my gun, I'm going to be dealing an additional 40% damage while I'm protected with the overshield. And remember, as long as I have slot 2 on, anytime I do AoE damage, I'm essentially keeping my overshield up indefinitely. My overshield will never go down. So you're essentially getting a free 40% damage buff with the overshield while you're playing. And it creates a deadly gameplay, and it even ties into your Q ability with the cannon for Maru. And so that is actually insane for this to be a spread character. Now, going into slot 4, the Bellicose Blazer. On stream, most of you guys, we've had deep talks about whether you should be running Bellicose Blazer or the other Blazer, I forgot the name of it, or even Explosive Shell. The truth be told is, after much consideration, this is an AoE unit, not so much a weapon unit. So you want to spec into AoE as much as you can, and so this does let you do that. And Bellicose Blazer states that AoE damage is increased by 25%. So any AoE damage you do on Maru, or anything you do on Maru, is AoE, whether that be your grenade launcher, your Q ability, your super, anything you do on Maru is literally AoE. so that your damage is increased essentially again in slot 4 by another 25%. It goes on to say, additionally, dealing AoE damage increases the wielder's movement speed by 15% for 3 seconds. So this is going to be huge for things like Calamity, where you are going to need movement text to get through certain areas quicker while you have the higher multiplier. And so that's going to help with that in that regard as well. Now, granted, it is only for 3 seconds, so you're not really getting too much out of it. I don't think it stacks. It may stack, I'm not sure, but it's there nonetheless. I was only focusing on the damage portion of it, which is the first bit of it. It's nice that we get the movement tech out of it as well. Now, I want to go into the weapons, and we'll show some gameplay with the weapons here as well as I'm explaining it. But we are using the new grenade launcher, Vergar's drill, and forgive me if I'm pronouncing that wrong. If you guys watched the last video, you would know that I literally YouTubed to see how to pronounce the name, and that's what I was hearing, so that's how I'm pronouncing it here. The Vergar drill, or Vergar drill. On this, I have all of the catalyst boost unlocked. I don't have slot 3 yet, just for the simple fact that I am waiting for my battle pass to be maxed out and kind of being time gated, because they give you the challenges like weekly or daily or whatever it is, so I'm kind of waiting for that. But once I get that, I will have slot 3 unlocked. And this right here, we'll come back to in a second on why this plays with your resonance side of the build once we go over the relics a little bit more in depth. And then the grenade launcher, we are running the Surinabuse. I hope I'm saying that right, but we are running the new Surinabuse GL that launched with Season 2 Blitz. I do have one of the perks that is wrong. I'm running the Eager perk. You preferably want auto-loading with the, we've been calling this Ploppy on stream, Ploppy or whatever on stream, because I can't pronounce this. Plottity, I don't know. We've just been calling it Ploppy. You want both the ones with the thumbs up. This is the absolute best roll you can take. Essentially what it states is that projectiles blast always deals 75% blast damage when one target is hit, and 30% blast damage when 2 or more targets are hit. Once again, speccing into that AoE portion of the damage, or speccing into the AoE side of the kit that we have built up here. Now we're going to go ahead and turn our attention to the relics and really explain how these all work together, and we'll go into the talent tree last, and we'll be showing clips on screen as well. So we're going to start off with the core, the collapse. And so it says here, dealing or absorbing damage with abilities provides resonance, with the collapsing cannon enhancing all of Maru's abilities. Losing health or shield will result in a loss of resonance, and the higher Maru's resonance is, the more she will lose. So, a couple things to note here. Resonance is essentially a free damage buff. Think of it like that. Every time you have resonance, it's going to shoot, and it actually tells you right here, when resonance is at 50% or higher, weapon shots will produce 3 split shells, each dealing 360 void damage to combatants within a 4-meter radius. This also procs on your Q ability with the Annihilation Blast, so whenever you have at least 50%, you're going to be proccing resonance as well, and resonance does not go away so long as you have your overshield up, which you will always have your overshield up. You will have constant, and I mean literally, it doesn't even go away, constant resonance. So you're always proccing resonance on every shot, whether it be every grenade launcher, both heavy and primary, whether it be every Annihilation Blast, whether it be your super, which I don't know if it buffs, I don't know if it does. Hey, it does work on a super as well. Whether you're doing your super, you're constantly going to be shooting out resonance, which is the purple meter on the bottom or above your health bar for Maru. Energy reserves, you should have all of these on. This is just essential perks that tie into the build here. One last thing and we'll wrap it up here, and then we'll show some footage on the screen, even more footage here. The talent tree, I'm gonna be honest, I recommend everyone go for at least the T1, And that's the complete honest truth. You can stop at T1 if you want, but everyone needs to go for a T1, because if you go for a T1 with this build that I showed you guys today, you're going to essentially have cannons. You're going to have these Annihilation Blast, which is your cannon, pretty much up indefinitely, and you're going to be able to tank and spam so many abilities, it's not even funny. Because remember, every time you get shot, if you go back and look at your relic abilities, anytime you get shot, let's look for it. Anytime you get shot, it's one of these. Actually, it tells you here, resonant affects the overshield's duration. No, a vortex barrier forms at the collapsing cannon's muzzle, converting engulf bullets and blast damage into an overshield. Resonant affects the overshield duration in real time. When resonant reaches 50% or more, the barrier provides a large protection. One of these also stated, I think it was the weapon mastery, or no, was it? It's one of these. One of these states that, oh, it's right here. It's energy reserves. Duh, it's right in front of my face. The vortex barrier generated by Abyss Engulf will recharge Annihilation Blast when it absorbs damage. So whenever you are putting out your shielding, you're taking the damage for your team, you're going to always charge your Annihilation Blast faster than if it had not been deployed, period, right? And if you're playing your gameplay right, you're always going to be proccing your shield out, because the shield is always going to be, you're always going to proc your shield anyway, because that's how you're getting the 10% increase from your ability strings from your artifact. And so you're essentially getting that free 10% every time you just pop the shield up and down for like not even half a second to increase your damage. You can even keep it out and shoot your grenade launcher with the shield out while you're taking the damage, so that way you can charge your Annihilation Blast even faster than if you hadn't been. And so doing that, you're going to have 2 shots literally at all times. It creates for a deadly build. I didn't do it yet because I went and did a calamity, not a calamity, but an expanse, made number 17 on the leaderboard. I wanted to see what I could do with a T0, but I can definitely get past 17 on the leaderboard server wide if I had this right here, because I can clear rooms a bit faster with this. But I personally believe T5 is a really good stopping point, because you're going to get increased damage with your blast. You're going to be able to, with your blight volleys, the damage can now be increased up to 100% when your resonance is full. Mind you, your resonance does have to be full to get the full 100%, so your super is going to tank a lot more damage. And then your third slot, which is when resonance is at 50% or higher, the number of smaller impact shells ejected after Annihilation Blast Cannonball explodes is increased to 5. So instead of the 3 on your Q ability, it would technically be 5. Mind you, that pairs into your slot 1, because the more blast you shoot, the more projectiles you spawn, which is 5, causing even more AoE destructiveness. It's insane. And of course, you have your second one as well. Landing direct weapon hits recharges Abyss Engulf. So just literally shooting your gun is going to recharge your Abyss Engulf, which never goes down to begin with. So that's unlimited uptime on that. And with light grenade launcher hits providing 5%, and grenade launcher, heavy grenade launchers hits providing 10% per hit. When a single target, shot results in multiple direct hits, it can provide up to 10% recharge, which is insane. So with that, I hope the gameplay on screen has been helpful for you guys to really see this build close up. And that is the Maru build. And as always, guys, if you like this video, please consider liking the video, subscribing to the channel, and commenting down below. And let me know what you guys think. Let me know what you guys are running on your Maru builds, what you would have done different, and all that good stuff. And once again, I cannot stress this to the folks and to everyone here. If you are needing help with any calamity runs, anything, or just anything in the game, please join the Discord. Follow me on Twitch, Lord Brandon, link in the description, Discord in the comments. Please come on in and join the community, and let's make this a big community. With that being said, we'll see you guys in the next Destiny Rising video. Peace out, Girl Scouts.